Y'all ain't heard nothing like this before. Beat him in the head with this trilogy. Who dropped this for a certain demographic? Turn it up, blast it. This is gonna be a classic. Facts. Not your runner to me.
Hey, all my paisans and pomadas. Welcome to episode 13 of Gangsters and Cigars. We missed you guys last week. It was a holiday for some.
Yep. I hope everybody had a good holiday.
I'm your host, Bobby Bacala, with my sidekick,
Shirtless Mike. So how was your holiday?
Wasn't bad, man. It was relaxing, chilled. We had date night. Decided I wasn't cooking for the fucking kids. And just me and the old lady had date night. It was actually very nice.
Let me ask you this. Did they cook for you? No.
When? Ever?
Yeah.
No, they did not cook for me. And no, they have never cooked for me.
I'll get there one day. It's not my turn yet.
That being said, tonight's episode, we have a very special guest, very close friend of mine, Pete White from Pete White's Boxing and MMA Gym, located in Port Orange, Florida. He is the home of champions. They just got through getting a title belt out of his gym. I'll have Pete tell you all about that when he takes a seat on the couch. Before that, let's talk about a cigar because we never lead off with the cigar.
Yeah, so we're smoking the Debonair Habano. This is made at the De Los Reyes factory in the Dominican Republic. So the wrapper on this is Nicaraguan. The binder is Dominican, and the filler is Dominican and Nicaraguan. And it's a beautiful medium-bodied cigar. It's awesome. I'm enjoying it so far. Great flavor notes that I'm getting out of it. I'm getting some like nuttiness with a little spice right now. I don't know what you're getting.
Toast. Yeah.
I can see that for sure.
Definitely toast. Little back note of like a creamy taste to it. I don't taste spice. But then again,
it's very little.
Palate.
It's not like a lot of spice. It's just within the mix. So.
It's a great flavorful cigar though.
Oh yeah, I'm enjoying it.
I know when we were both discussing what cigar, and I'm like, hey, I've never tried a Debonair before, and I wanted to try it, and I'm glad that we lit it up because I'm thoroughly enjoying it. You know, I'm a mild to medium guy. This is definitely on the mild to medium, more towards the medium end. I dig the wrapper. I dig the box it comes in. I dig the smoke. It's got a great presentation. I'd absolutely smoke it again.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely something that, you know, if you see this, it's definitely worth trying. Debonair Habano, made by Phil Zangi. And, you know, you can't go wrong with them. Now, smoking it.
Before we have our guest to the couch, why don't you tell our fan base a little bit about the big weekend coming up in Tampa?
All right, so Sunday is the Ybor City Cigar Heritage Festival, which I will be out there. Are you planning on going out there still?
I cannot make it, although I'll send my regards to Robert.
Oh, yeah. And then I'm also going to be involved with a charity thing going on Friday and Saturday. I'll leave the information in the description just in case anybody that's out there wants to, you know, get a ticket. The ticket basically, it will go towards the raffles. You'll get like some swag with it. It's going to be a Friday night's event. It's going to be an all-star celebrity roast. We're roasting Robert Caldwell at Fusion Cigar Lounge in Clearwater. Yeah, so it's going to be easy to roast Mr. Caldwell. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And then Saturday, they're doing like some service stuff, which all that information, I'm not too clear on it. I'm going to get all that information. But if you get the ticket for the weekend prior to the Heritage Festival, all that will be emailed to you and all that. But me and Cigar Mike from Atlanta, we're going to be involved in like a cigar scavenger hunt on Saturday.
That sounds like fun.
I'll be around. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But you know, Cigar Heritage Festival, the regular admission, if you don't get any special ticket, is free. I got the $25 ticket, so I'm gonna get like a few cigars, drink tickets, raffle tickets, stuff like that, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Now you're gonna throw shit in the swag bag for your buddy Bobby.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna look out for Bobby for sure.
That's cool. So I'm not gonna be able to make it. I'm disappointed. I'm not gonna be able to make the roast. Robert is a friend of mine. So on that note, because I can't make the roast, fuck you, Robert. Just thought I'd put that out there. Fuck you, Robert.
It's all good. I will be sure to let him know when
Let
I
him
see
know.
him.
And I mean that with the utmost respect and kindness.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let me introduce Pete White from Pete White Boxing and MMA. Have a seat, Pete. If you could.
How we doing, gentlemen? How we doing?
Good, good.
Doing well. Thanks for coming on with us, man.
That's a big motherfucker for the couch.
Honored to be here.
You're gonna have to move over.
It's all good.
Can you fit your ass on the couch? Pete?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Got plenty of room.
Honored to be here with you guys.
So Pete's a good friend of mine. We know each other for a few years. We ride together. We break bread together. We talk about fisticuffs and combat, and we talk about people acting like gangsters until it's time to do gangster shit. So we're going to cover all kinds of stuff. To start with, Pete, what year did you open up the gym?
I think it's been about 16 years up in Volusia County. And to be honest with you, when I first started, I didn't even have a gym. I just was, my son wanted to fight. He wanted to box. There was a PAL program going on by a buddy of mine up there who was a detective in Edgewater. His name was Gary Conroy. He's good friends with Bob Walker. So Gary ran a PAL program. Didn't last very long. So I kind of took my son and started training him at a park by my house. Next thing I know, I got about 20, 30 kids at the park every day after school, and I'm hanging heavy bags up in trees and stuff, training all these kids, you know, and it was pretty cool. They were dedicated for a long time. So then I decided, okay, well, I might as well get a gym and start. Now I had fighters coming in and out and training, and I was working with my son and everything, and I was training at somebody else's gym, teaching some kids up there. Then I went to another gym and was teaching classes and training kids out of there. And then I went and got my own gym. And we've had a couple different locations, but the place I'm at now in Lemon Street in Port Orange, I've been there about 6 years. So it's been a journey. Started with kids in the park, just trying to help kids out, and all the way to guys fighting in MGM Grand and UFC out in Las Vegas, and the professional boxers. One of my kids just won a world title in boxing. He's been with me for about 16 years, and finally won a world title in pro boxing up in Myrtle Beach. So
That just happened, right, Pete?
yeah, that happened about a month ago, I think it is now.
And what's that boxer's name?
That's Keemon Evans. Keemon's a product of what happens with PAL boxing and with the boxing program. You know, sometimes these kids get a rough start, come out of the bad neighborhoods, bad areas, bad backgrounds, and he beat the odds. He had a successful turnaround in his life, and he's like my own son, you know. And he's gone from jail to and probation and all this stuff, and turned it around, and now he's a world champion. He did all his time, got everything cleared up his record, thanks to my lawyer Daniel Martinez, who helped him out a lot. So it's nice to see the kids turn around and become successful in life rather than fall into being a statistical situation, you know.
Oh, absolutely. And it's amazing that you've helped out at least one kid, let alone the amount of kids that you've helped through.
There's been hundreds and hundreds of kids over the years.
So what title does he?
It's the NABA World. It's an Intercontinental NABA North American Boxing Association world title that he's got. It's in the same family as the WBA title. So he's now ranked in the top 20 in the world as the light heavyweight champ.
Beautiful, beautiful.
We got a lot of big things coming up. So,
lots of luck, champ.
Yeah. Salute. Keemon's a great kid, man.
So what other champions you have? I know you've got fighters in the UFC.
Yeah, I had a kid back with Michael Davis, who was like another kid that was like my son. He lived with me and everything, and he fought. He's now in the UFC. He was a world champion for Island Fights in Pensacola over there. It was in conjunction with Roy Jones Jr. So he was actually the he was like, sure. not the main event, but the co-main event to Roy Jones Jr.'s last fight.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, Roy Jones that was his last fight in Pensacola over there at the Bay Center, and Michael was the co-main event for that. He won a world title that night, so it was pretty cool, man. You know,
So don't you have some special female fighters as well?
yeah, I got a couple of good ones, man. My daughter's been with me. My daughter started Taylor. Taylor White. She started with me when she was 9. I was a single dad. She started out hanging out in the gym when I was training her brother and a bunch of the other kids. I always kept pushing her to the side. You need to get out of the way. You need to get out of the way so I can train these guys. She just kept doing her own thing. You know, she had no choice but to be in the gym with me. She stuck with it. All the guys met girls, disappeared, lost the fight life, and she's still training. She's a female champion in MMA and in boxing in the state of Florida. Getting ready to turn pro. So she's 22 years old now, and she's 6-1 in MMA, and I don't even know her boxing record. I think she's got 1 loss in boxing as well. But she's ranked in the top.
And she's a good kid.
Yeah, she's a good kid.
Yeah, we'll give her that. She's
right.
a good kid. We'll give her that.
She's all right. It's her left side that's a little shaky.
Well, you don't have to worry about her on any dates.
Nah.
You know?
She looks at me. She says, "Dad, that guy's cute, but I can't be with somebody that I can beat their ass." Understandable.
Yeah, understandable. Yeah.
So, I got a lot of great kids, man. I got another girl that's been with me since she was 12, Kira Martinez. She's now 19, I believe, and she's a national champion in boxing, and now she's just won a title in Fort Pierce last Saturday night. I think it was down there for Rise of the Warrior. She won a kickboxing title for them. She's the 110-pound state champ for kickboxing.
So you're pumping out champions.
Oh, there we go. I got belts all over the place. So it's not me. The kids got to put in the work.
No, you're 100%. You're 100% right, but they need a good trainer.
You got to keep them focused. You know, it's not just me either. I have John Radford's one of my coaches. He started with me as a fighter. He's now 40 years old. He did his some amateur fights and stuff with me. We made his dream come true, and I turned him pro, so you can say he got at least 1 pro fight under his belt. He won his pro debut. But John coaches with me now. He's also a vice principal school teacher in Daytona. And John's he was a black belt. He was the alternate for the United States Taekwondo team in Seoul, in Korea and stuff. So he's pretty amazing guy, man. If there was anybody ever in this world that I could pass any knowledge on to as far as a coach and a trainer and everything, it's him. And he's done a remarkable job. We have a kid that he's been working with. He's been in my gym for about 5 or 6 years now. John's put a lot of time into him. This kid's turned into like his little brother. And Chris now fights in PFL, which is a Professional Fighters League, which is like the UFC. It's a huge organization. He just fought in England about 3 or 4 months ago. He fought in England over there. So we're waiting for a call for his next fight. Kid's great. He's going to be a world champion as well.
Now, you and I have spoken about everything in life, not only the boxing world and motorcycle world and life in general. And I think one of the things that I respect of you and the way that you bring it into the gym is your faith. And I know that you incorporate that with training and turning some of these kids around. We've spoken about that.
My kids, we pray. Before any one of them steps in the ring, we pray. Before we're in the gym and we're going through stuff, or kids are going through stuff, kids are always going through stuff.
Absolutely.
Kids don't know how to deal with stuff because they're kids. They haven't gotten that far yet. So they know they can always come over and hold my hand and give me a hug, or we can talk, or we'll just pray together at the end of training or something, you know, and it's a big deal to me. I had a kid that was with me for a long time, and he was an unbelievable fighter. Had over 300 amateur fights from Puerto Rico. He lived another one that stayed with me and stuff, and we came up together. We had a bunch of amateur fights together. Turned him pro. He was undefeated as a professional. He would pick up anybody around him. He would make you laugh. He would pick you up in spirit. He was just the guy you wanted to be around because he would help everybody. He would take I bought him a new pair of boxing shoes, and he was so excited because he never had a coach buy him a pair of boxing shoes or anything. He didn't have anything from where he came from. So he would take off his new shoes and he would let other kids wear them while they were in the gym training because he wanted them to feel like they were special with the, Unfortunately, I lost Michael. He battled a lot of really hard depression and everything, and I lost him. And this is a tattoo of Michael over here. We called him Choco. That was his ring name, was Choco. So
very nice. Nice tribute. Very nice tribute.
But Michael's with me, and he's like my son as well. And I lost Michael, and there wasn't many people that could do anything to help him as far as when he passed. And I didn't have a dollar to my name. And I talked to the funeral home at the end of my street in my gym, and I says, listen, I need to get this service done. How much is it going to cost me, and for the service and everything? And they told me it was like $3,800. And I said, go ahead and do it. And my wife at the time looked at me and she says, we don't have $3,800. What are you doing? I says, I'm not worried about it. I'm not letting this kid happen. I need a service for him. And I went on Facebook, and I never did it before, but I posted on there what had happened, and I needed some help and stuff. And this was on Friday, and by the time Tuesday came, I needed to have the money, and I had all the money. People from all over the world sent me
That's awesome.
$50 here, $100 there, whatever. And I walked in there crying so hard when I had to hand them that money. And since that day, that's what the word faith to me means. And that's where I got it from, and how strong my faith is. Because when times are tough, man, as long as you do right by people, things will come back around and be right by you.
So as much as we say everybody's a piece of shit in this world, there are good people still in the world.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been a blessing. It's been a great ride for me and everything. I've been doing this for a long time. My body's getting beat up and old and tired, but that's what it is.
Yeah, stupidest thing I think we've done is get old.
Yeah.
So where does your training background come from, Pete?
I mean, I just did some training when I was younger. I wrestled in high school and did all that stuff, and I played like every sport. I was very athletic when I was a kid in school and everything. I played soccer with the United States national team. I toured the world. I played ice hockey. I was a goalie. I played friggin' all this stuff. There was boxing gyms up home that were around. I used to go in and out of and stuff up there. I never got very serious into it as far as being a fighter because I couldn't dedicate my time to go, because I had my first kid when I was 19. I had my second kid when I was 20. So I ended up being a single dad, raising two. Got remarried, had another kid when I was 30, Taylor. And then I raised her as well. So I raised three kids by myself growing up. My mom helped me out as well, so that worked out pretty good.
Let me ask you a question completely off the subject of boxing.
Yeah.
Do you keep the same box for when you get thrown out of house to house like I do? I got the same damn box in the garage because
I'm making the trip.
Right, exactly. It's the
go
only thing that I own in my life, consistent over the past.
Yep.
Whatever.
That's the way it goes.
It is. And it's funny because you talk about some of the kids that you turned around in boxing, and they haven't gotten to be the season being kicked in the balls, as some of us have, and pulling up your big boy pants and moving on, and like you, fighting for me has always been my whole life. Started when I was 9, fought Muay Thai, made it into the International Martial Arts Hall of Fame. And I piss a lot of people off when I bring this up, and then I'm sure you have the same type of philosophy. So I had an argument with somebody just a few days ago who won't mention names, was trying to tell me the importance of belts. And I was trying to tell him that when it comes to combat, it doesn't matter what color your belt is or how you tie it, that it means absolutely nothing. I did an interview when I got inducted, and I pissed off the whole martial arts community. And I said, it's not feudal Japan. And even though everything looks beautiful, It's just not meant for combat hand-to-hand. In fast forward to our days.
Yeah.
So I've always curtailed. I've taught the military, private black ops groups, and hand-to-hand police, but it's all completely combat based. And the boxing aspect, which I think is interesting, is every kid starts off in Taekwondo.
Sure.
And then you realize,
and it was huge back in the day.
It was
huge. Karate, Taekwondo.
Absolutely. Then you realize that no matter how many high kicks you have, if somebody with a good set of hands is going to fucking clean your clock. So I started doing boxing. My blocking techniques are all from Wing Chun. Yep. So I incorporated everything because I realized, Jesus, so many ways to get your ass kicked by just sticking to one type of form.
Sure.
Much like boxing.
Sure.
I studied Chinese boxing for a while, which is cool.
Yeah.
There's
so many different levels to everything, and and then going back to the whole belt system. The belt system is wonderful when you own a school and you're making money because you're promoting belts.
Absolutely.
And every time you promote, you got to charge more money. You
Absolutely.
Get that. Now, granted, the people that argue with it are people that are white belts, blue belts, beginners in whatever it is, in the lower levels, because they're proud that they just earned the next belt, or they got a stripe or something like that, and that's great. But I know guys that are 5th-dan black belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that would just assume throw their belt away.
Absolutely.
Let's just strap on a white belt and go right back up, and because they don't believe in it anymore. So I think that comes with the level of experience and everything. When I started with boxing, and especially with training boxing, I stuck to such these. Okay, I watch this guy, and I need to work on this, and I like to stay in this way, this stance, this, that, and all this. And then as I progressed over the years, I teach the kids that start out new the basic fundamentals.
Right.
But then I realized I need a coach in their right mind that's teaching your fighters. As for boxing, for instance, if you're teaching a guy that's a heavyweight, the same fundamentals as all the rest, and as a kid that's 120 pounds, you teach him the same fundamentals. But you can't train a heavyweight boxer the same way you train a guy that's 125 pounds, 126 pounds. Or any other way. This kid might be great with the right hand, where this kid might be good with the left hook. Every world champion had their own blessings or what they did. Larry Holmes didn't fight like Mike Tyson.
No.
You know what I mean? So you have to take as a coach, you have to find the kid's talent, where they're going to be strong, where they're going to be weak, and then you need to amplify that according to the student, not by what they're telling you in the rule book or this and that. So as you get older and you progress in this game, you learn how to alternate. So I don't teach people. Sometimes I might teach somebody that's totally unorthodox to the game. People are like, what the hell are you doing? Well, people are always going to criticize. One of my buddies told me one time, he says, Pete, people are always criticized. They're always going to talk shit about you. They're always going to say shit and try and put you down. First of all, because they're jealous. Second of all, what do the numbers say? How many wins do you have compared to losses with your fighters, with this, with that? He says, because the numbers don't fucking lie.
No.
Everybody can say what they want, but just look at the fucking numbers, and that'll tell you. You know what I mean? Bill Parcells was a hell of a football coach. Look at the fucking numbers. People can argue with it until they're blue in the face, but the numbers will tell you.
Right.
So,
let me ask you, see if you agree with me. And you don't have to, because we're friends. And if you disagree with me, I'm going to get pissed at you, which I probably will. But
that's all right, I'll tell Don.
But that aside, right, thanks, appreciate it. That aside, so every time first off, hats off to you for training kids. I don't have the patience. I can never do it.
That's hard.
So hats off on that. So I always used to say, when I was training different people in different aspects, I'd say, I can show you and teach you a whole suitcase full of moves. What I can't teach you is how to fight and be in the ring or be in the street with you.
Yeah.
You agree, or am I wrong? Or am I slightly off?
I have kids that come in and they could be the most technically sound people in the gym, but if you don't have fucking balls, you don't have heart, you don't have that killer instinct.
Oh, absolutely.
It just doesn't matter, you know what I mean? But I got a little girl that just started in my gym. She's 7 years old. She comes into the gym. She won't even make eye contact. Her mother's like, I need her to come in. She's a little girl, little chubby thing and everything, but she's amazing. Her mother says she's getting beat up in school. The other girls are picking on her. I said, okay, no problem. She says, she's only 7. Can I bring her? I said, you bring her to me. She comes in. She starts taking a class. It took me about a half an hour to get her to stand in the class because she was so scared and ashamed. Now, she's been at the gym for 4 weeks now. She jumps out of the car, comes sprinting across the parking lot. She wants to give you a hug on the leg. She goes in there. She's got her own little boxing shoes, got her own little gloves, everything. Cool. Some girl started some shit with her at school the other day. She punched that girl right in the nose. Now everybody's happy. Now, I don't condone my kids fighting anywhere outside of the gym, but if somebody puts their hand on you or somebody doing something that's going to hurt you, then you got to handle yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
And now nobody will fuck with that kid again in that school.
My grandson's 2.5, and he lives in Port Orange, and I'm going to drop his ass at your doorstep in about another half a year. So be fucking prepared.
Yep.
You know,
but you're absolutely right. You can show them stuff, but you can't make them a fighter. It's in them.
I mean, you look at some of the martial artists that are the prettiest, most technical, and if they stood up to fight, they'd last about 2 seconds. Yep. So, I mean, it means absolutely nothing.
Yep.
So, you know, we talking about dark past and what turned our lives around and the shit that, you know, you and I spoke about, but I know what my turning point was. What was Pete's turning point?
My kids. When I was younger, I was in anything and everything that wasn't the right thing. I grew up in the 80s in New York, 80s and then 90s. I was big in the sanitation industry.
Oh, my people.
Back in the day. I won't go into much of that.
You don't have to.
You already know if you're from New York and you know the.
I said my people.
Yeah. So
unfortunately,
I was mixed up in everything and anything, and you know, I don't know. I always got up, always went to work, always took care of my family, had to do what I had to do. But my kids, they just made me. I just hit a point where I settled down and just started trying to do the right thing and trying to help everybody out.
You know, I've always worked and broke my ass and been in law enforcement since I'm 19, and then after that, and went overseas and did shit. But I don't think I grew up until 9 years ago when I met Dylan.
Yeah,
I was still pretty on the edge.
And it's crazy like that too. I mean, 10 years, and then probably 15 years ago, I met my last wife, and I was with her for 10 years. And I kind of grew up a lot then. But now I'm with somebody. I'm with Izzy, and
hey, Izzy.
No matter what I do, no matter who I train, no matter how many world champions I have, no matter what the hell I go through, the toughest motherfucker in the world is that girl.
Oh, absolutely.
And you know, she's fighting her own battles right now, and
God bless.
And we'll win that one too.
We will.
And,
we will.
You know, that it just shows me. She makes me grow up more every day. So.
Yeah, and you needed to grow up.
Yeah. I still fuck up.
Oh, you know, we all do on a daily. Hey, why I'm on that subject, just a plug if I can. January 7th, it's called Pirates on the Edge in Edgewater, Florida. We are doing a benefit. We're known as the Highland Aristocrats. We're doing a benefit. All the proceeds are going to the Children Cancer Center at Mayo in Jacksonville on behalf of Pete's future bride, Izzy. So if you guys can come out and make that. We have a direct descendant of Queen Margaret of Scots who is going to knight people and get lord and lordship. You could pay for that. I have been officially knighted by the descendant of the Queen of Scots. That was a different type of ceremony. She's great people. She's going to donate her time. Her husband, Keith, is the grand champion of Forged in Fire. Keith is going to be there as well. So if you guys can make it, please show up January 7th and help out the Children's Cancer Center at Mayo. Thanks.
Very awesome.
Thanks for giving me the minute to make
Absolutely.
the plug. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys.
So we all know the differences between being in a ring and being on the street in street fights. And I think that probably you and I hold different belts in street fighting than we did in the ring, where there are no rules.
Yeah.
And you know, it's always been one of my crosses to bear.
When I was younger, I was always in it.
No, me too.
I had a lot of anger issues and a lot of things, and you know, people look cross-eyed at you, and I had no problem when handling business, you know. And now, since I have the gym and I teach all these kids and everything, it's things like I try to explain to them, don't be fighting outside the gym.
Oh, absolutely.
So I try to avoid situations, but I don't have any problems getting in when it's time to get busy. So
no, again, that's the whole thing about doing gangster shit when it's time to do gangster shit.
Exactly.
You know, funny that, you know, we talk about some stuff about anger issues. So there was I've always been inflicted with anger issues.
Yeah.
And there was a few years up until I met Dawn, and through that I had prayed every night. You know, I guess I couldn't understand, came from a great upbringing.
Yeah.
I just couldn't understand why I was angry all the time. And maybe it was because I was jaded from being a cop since I was 19. But then again, I had anger issues in school. So, and it was through that I'm not going to tell you that I've calmed down, because you were with me a few weeks ago. So I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and lie to my fans. I can say that I'm better. I've been getting better, you know?
sometimes it's medical stuff. Sometimes there's things that men have to have, you know, fixed medically. Sometimes we're just a little crazy in the fucking head and we just can't help it.
Or assholes.
For me, I get grumpy and shit like that, and I'll be around the house and I'll be getting aggravated or frustrated or something, and Izzy will tell me, could you just get your shit and go to the fucking gym, go spar? So I go in and I spar, and then when I come home, beat up and fucking busted, and we sweat my ass off and everything else, and I sleep like a baby. And I get up and I'm good for a day.
Yeah, you're good for a day or two until you need to blow off steam
I got to
again.
blow off steam and go back to the gym. So and I try to spar at least 20, 30 rounds a week still, and I'm not doing too bad for being 32 years old.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you just turned 32, didn't you?
Yeah. 20 years ago.
Yeah, I'm 35, so yeah. You know, growing up, we talk about where we're from.
Yeah.
I left when I graduated when I was 17 to go play ball in Tampa. I played soccer as well.
Yeah.
And probably if I didn't, I wouldn't be sitting on the couch, you know, having a conversation, because we both had the same friends type.
Yeah.
Both in the same deal.
It was a rough setup there.
It was. You know what I always said, and, you know, Mike has heard me say it, that it was like three choices in my neighborhood growing up. You either did what the family did, or you became a fireman or a cop.
Yeah.
There really wasn't too many other choices other than that.
But everybody I know up home is that way.
A fireman or cops, right? Or the other end, you know?
And that was good. I loved New York. I miss New York all the time. It's not the same as when we were kids by any means.
Oh, no. You can have it, man.
I was born in the Bronx in New Rochelle, and then I moved. I left there and I went up to Danbury, Connecticut for a while, and then we were in Brewster, New York, and then I worked.
Your accent kind of sounds like a
I worked in the city every day for a long time, and after 9/11, it was time I had to go, and I got to get out of the city, so I came back. I came down here. My mother moved down here to New Smyrna Beach in 2001.
I love your mom.
2000, and then I came in 2002.
Love your mom, by the way.
Yeah, she's That's my best friend.
Your mom's good people.
That's my best friend. If it wasn't for Mom, I don't know where.
Even though she came out of the house with a shotgun, came at me with a shotgun to get me off of property. But that's another story for another time.
Pete told me I should come over here and park. He says, Pete, who?
Yeah, your mom's a character. I had a lot of fun with her that day. So, boxing. First off, you took a major hit during both hurricanes.
Yeah, we got flooded up there a little bit. Our mats for our jiu-jitsu and stuff got wet. So, but we'll make do. I started this gym off with nothing. I mean, I didn't have any money. I didn't have like a business plan and go get $100,000 loan to open a gym or whatever. We found a warehouse. Some friends came together. We sprayed the whole place down, painted it and everything. I had a couple grand. I bought a ring. I had somebody else that loaned me some money for mats and stuff because the mats were like a couple $1,000s.
But you still work every day.
Yeah, I work every day. I drive truck, run heavy equipment and stuff, and then I get up at like 3 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning. I go to work. I work till like 12 or 1. Go home, take a nap, then go to the gym in the evening time, train, go home, do it again.
All right, tell me what's in the future for Pete White's boxing and MMA.
I don't know what the future is, man. I just play everything day by day. I just keep going. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens.
More
here.
Belts in the future?
Yeah, we're looking. Kimon will probably be fighting here again in January. We're either talking about Texas or Austin, Texas, I think they said, or Miami for Don King. We'll see what's going on there, but we definitely got everybody's lined up to fight. I got so many fighters in the gym. It's we just stay busy with rounding up fights all the time.
So I know we're not in Miami.
Yeah.
And I know we're not in New York.
Yeah.
You still have sharks coming, paying you visit for fighters?
Yeah. I get people from all over the world that's going, hey, can I come over and train with you? This nest. Here's where I'm at. If you want to come, I'm more than welcome. I'll help you. So. A lot of pro fighters and stuff. I got one of the kids coming in from Pensacola tomorrow. He's 11-0 or 12-0 pro boxer. He trains with Roy Jones Jr.'s dad over there. He used to. Now he's going to come over and we're going to do some sparring tomorrow night. We got a couple of good pros coming in to do some sparring tomorrow night.
So you built a good name for yourself and a good rep at the gym.
I got a pretty good. In the fight world, there's not too many people that.
No. So my buddy Pete hooked me up with an official UFC ring hat.
Yep.
And I've got the official Pete White boxing shirt on that he gave me tonight. So thank you for the swag.
Absolutely.
I'm always down for swag.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we can't go anywhere without Bobby needing something. He needs a shirt. I would love to see the closets in the house because I'm sure Dawn must be like, what the hell? They go with the 600 pair of sneakers you got out there.
Yeah. Izzy and I are going to go round and round about my Shine shirt that she won't come off on.
She's there right now.
But that's just a...
Thank you very much, man.
Shout out to Tara for bringing us a drink. Shouts out.
I get off of work.
Thank you, Tara.
It's new. I just kind of came up with it. Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it is good.
Yummy.
All right. It has been an absolute pleasure to share the couch with you, Pete. And
Absolutely.
I thank you.
It's an honor for me to come down here and hang out with
I
you guys.
know. I know our fans are going to be excited to hear a little bit about boxing in Florida.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that all your champions come out of New York or Miami or different parts, but Port Orange, Florida, just an hour north of us.
We've been doing all right.
I'll have to come pay
God's blessed us.
the gym, yes, and I'll come pay the gym a visit one day to,
Absolutely.
break balls like I normally do.
Good.
Because that's what I'm good at. But Pete, thank you again, brother.
Shalom.
I appreciate it.
Brother.
Thank you for everything. Thanks for stopping by and sharing the couch with us.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
It's a great interview, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yep. Yeah, now that he unasked half the fucking couch, we can make ourselves slightly comfortable.
Here, I'm going to move over just a little bit so I'm not super close. I like you. But
There you go. I like you, man. I don't like you that much.
We're buddies, but, not
I hear you. So what we have in the future. So December 15th, I'll be down in Key West with my friend Jay Weisinger. I'm going to do a remote with Jay. We're going to link you in.
Yep.
We're going to do it from. You're going to link me in because I don't know how to do that shit. But
and I will be shirtless because I'll be in the Hertz.
Yeah, very cool. I may even be shirtless down in Key West. Who the hell knows? Anyway, so we're going to do a live shot down there. At least we'll be live from Key West, even though we'll be shown at a later time. We're going to talk more about some of the finds that he's made, some of the stuff that has in the, let me see if I get this right. It's salt water that is electrified that gets off barnacles and debris, but he was gifted some items. I'm kind of excited to see that. So that interview coming up on the 15th will be really cool. I have one of my former partners is going to come on. We both were overseas at the same time together doing Black Ops. He was also a cop with me. We're going to be talking about everything terrorism. I know I advertised this before, but I wanted to make sure I had the right people on. We're going to be talking about terrorism, which is the ultimate gangster shit. So we're going to talk about that. One of my closest and dearest friends, Jay Dunbar, who was one of my partners. He was one of my original bandmates. Jay, when he decided to leave law enforcement, he is now one of the most recognized rock photographers in the industry. He has shot everyone from Elton John to U2, everyone. Jay's going to come on. We're going to talk about the rock life. We'll talk about a pretty big case we worked together that's, I think everybody, the fans are absolutely going to get off on this case. It takes twists and turns. It's really interesting. We won't be naming any names, but it'll be definitely worth listening to. We'll let everybody know when Jay's going to be on. Jay's up in Detroit right now, so it'll be a remote. My other two buddies, Rob Walker, who is the author who lost his home, is getting his life back in order as far as his home goes. We are going to do a special with Rob, so we have things coming up. Please hit the like buttons, subscribe some more. We've got great things coming up, some really great interviews, some funny, some you're going to get pissed at, and a lot of shit that has to do with the gangster life, present day gangsters, and Bob's knowledge of past gangsters, and him being one of the leading authors on a collection of photos, the largest collection of gang-related photos in U.S. On that note, you're going on vacation.
Yes, sir.
You're going to be in Tampa. Don't forget my swag. Again, shout out to Big Lou. Shout out to Smoke Rings. Shout out to all my brothers out there, to all our fans out there. And I'll leave it with this. You could either be seated at the table or you can be on the menu. God bless. Watch out for the Maloikia. Have a good night.
Have a good night, y'all.